Okay, for for many of you guys that are actually looking at my face, yes, I actually fell asleep at the end, and but it actually went on as I predicted. Randy Orton actually was the champion. But before I actually go on to my review of this entire pay per view, I am gonna say this: I'm very excited about the WWE Network coming out. But the actual unveiling of the WWE Network really did mess me up as well. It's kind of like a half and half because number one, with the WWE Network coming out on Monday, there were a lot of cable companies that didn't even have the Elimination Chamber and wasn't even going to air it, as well as those that plan on watching on Xbox Live couldn't because of the WWE Network's debut on Monday, which was hours away. So honestly, it's kind of jacked up. I end up having to stream it online instead of watching it on TV, which is what I really wanted. And as usual, everyone knows I don't really have the best internet around. So when you actually do watch it online, you don't get the same feel as you actually would on TV without interruptions, I guess. But besides all that, I guess there's really nothing I can do about that, and it is what it is. So let's just go into the actual pay per view review. Um, Honestly, it was decent. I didn't really care much for the kickoff match, but I actually did miss majority of the kickoff match because of my internet. I couldn't get it started on YouTube for some reason. So a lot of the matches I can't really call on because I really got in on the last minute. I missed the entire Biggie Langston Jack Swagger match, but I ended up hearing that Biggie Langston retained it as well as Cody Rhodes and Goldust ended up winning their match. But didn't have a chance to see it, so I kind of missed the entire feel of it, and I can't really explain those to you. But I am going to talk about the tag team match. The tag team match, I really did want the Usos to win because it would be nice and something new for the Usos to actually defend their title at WrestleMania because it would have been special for them. But a lot of people feel like it would have been more special if they won it at WrestleMania. But whether or not they're even going to have a tag team match at WrestleMania is an entirely different thing. I have no idea if they're going to have that or not. I actually wanted them to actually win it tonight, but Lord knows when that's going to happen again. But as for the other matches, I don't know. I never really expected it to be a Divas match tonight, especially a Divas champ match with Cameron. Yeah, we know that Naomi is out with a broken face, but regardless of that, I really wouldn't have picked Cameron to take her spot. Even though she's a Funkadactyl and it makes sense, I would not have Cameron. I would have somebody else to take her spot because it just wasn't right. It wasn't right to have her tag team partner take her place because of Oksana's blunder. I rather would have picked someone else that wasn't a Funkadactyl. I mean, that's just me because it just didn't seem fair. I think they should have just waited until Naomi's face healed and put on another random match and not a Divas match. But that's just me. Um, Moving on from there, let's be real. For the entire night, and even with the crowd, there was only one match and one match alone that people were waiting on, and that was Chaos versus Order, aka the Shield. Well, with the the Wyatts versus the Shield. That's the match that everybody really cared about and everybody really wanted to see, including myself. That match was a freaking war. Like, I have never seen a match like that in my life. How everybody literally channeled their inner Jeff Hardy. And at first, I was like, okay, Seth Rollins did a few dives, sure, yeah. I mean, he did one dive, okay, yeah. He did multiple dives, as well as Harper joining in and doing a dive. I mean, that was a freaking battle. That was like the best. I was like literally like that just has so much energy in it, and you were just like, oh my goodness, this is an awesome match. It was. It was the only match that everybody cared about. Nobody cared about any of the other matches. Nobody cared about the kickoff match, and definitely nobody cared about Batista versus Del Rio. No one. I'm sorry. That match with the Wyatt family and the Shield was awesome. Far beyond awesome. That was definitely, I mean, that should have been the main event. That was a main event match. As for Elimination Chamber, it was good, but it had the expectations like everybody else saw. Number one, I actually saw on Twitter that a lot of people were saying that he wasn't, that Daniel Bryan wasn't playing out his injury. Does he ever? No. I'm not really surprised there. But honestly, once again, Daniel Bryan gets screwed. And let's face it, no matter how much the WWE Universe, as well as the IWC and YWC, complain about Daniel Bryan not getting his shot, he ain't gonna. Especially tonight, Lord knows what's gonna happen at WrestleMania. Because the fact that, I mean, I don't know. People keep saying it's going to possibly be a triple threat match. That'll be a cop out. Seriously, it would be a cop out if he actually had a triple threat match. If somehow during the whole wrestling week, actually during the whole wrestling month, towards the entire month of March, if somehow they were able to play that in to whether he'll have a triple threat match, then sure, I'll let it slide. I'm like, okay, fine. Have a triple threat match just for Daniel Bryan to win. Because they're not going to have Daniel Bryan to be champion, not the way that he looks. I'm sorry. They're looking for a big dude that's clean cut and somebody that they actually feel can be a champion. They don't see Daniel Bryan as a champion. So no matter how much you complain, it ain't going to happen. And if it is, I'm glad to say I'm wrong. I would not mind to say I'm wrong. But I really don't see it happening this year. I mean, right as of right now, I do not see Daniel Bryan winning the championship again for this year. I don't, unless he goes heel. That's the only time he had the championship was when he went heel. But when he went heel, he lost in the most embarrassing way ever. So let's face it, if Daniel Bryan is up being in a triple threat match at WrestleMania, he's not gonna win. He's gonna have a really epic loss. I'd rather him not have a match like that at WrestleMania because they're going to humiliate him. Regardless, they're not going to be fair to Daniel Bryan. They never are. Let it go. The same thing with these dumb fans that keep doing this stupid CM Punk chant every single time. If you honestly believe in the power of kayfabe, that he is going to come out the blue like, "Hi fans, you see you guys chanting about me and I missed you." He doesn't freaking care. As far as I know, he's probably in UFC right now. He's not coming back. I'm tired of hearing the dumb chants. I'm tired of people being hecklers. It needs to end. It's annoying. Enough of that. Honestly, my personal thoughts in this whole pay-per-view was this. It was decent. The Wyatt match was probably the most epic war I've ever watched in my life. I didn't see the IC match, so I can't really give my own personal opinion about it. The tag team match was somewhat of a cop-out because I really didn't want the New Age Outlaws to win. It was a good match, and the Usos gave it their all. They dominated the match, but somehow they lost in the end. The Divas match was kind of impromptu and pointless because, well, let's just say Cameron was full of herself again. Somehow she ended up losing it because she paid attention to someone else, which was bound to happen. She wasn't going to take the title because they weren't going to break up the Funkadactyls. They're going to keep them together for a while. So I guess that made sense. But as for the main event itself, it was a good match. It was a really good match with a very predictable ending. So yeah, it was decent. But guys, I want to hear your personal thoughts about the Elimination Chamber. Leave a comment in the comment section below and send me a video response about how you feel. Stage Girl 30 signing off. Peace out. Later.